What's up, heroes? This is Dan here from HeroAcademyFitness.com, and today we're going to talk about the barbell row. This is an exercise that very frequently I will program opposed to a bench press, so I like to work opposing muscle groups on any given day when I'm working them. You'll find this in the Invincible One program as well as the Protege program and basically any sort of powerlifting or bodybuilding style program that we do. So basically there's a couple of ways that you can do this according to how you have stuff set up in your gym. Personally, the way I like to do this is I like to alternate it with my bench presses. Usually I program them as supersets. The easiest way to do this is if you have your bench, like so. We just finished bench pressing, right? I like to just drop the barbell down onto that bench, right? And then from here, our barbell form is pretty straightforward for me. This depends upon your body mechanics, how long your arms are, how long your legs are, etc. It just so happens that for me, personally, if I go ahead and set up on my bench like this, it's just about the right height for me to be able to have the bar be about at my knees, have my arms fully extended, and have my back at a point where you can just start to feel the pull in your hamstrings, but you're not like stretching your hamstrings and stuff like that, which is why I don't particularly like pendlay rows, which are rows that you off the ground. I like to do something where basically I'm putting all of the focus on my back. The nice thing about having this supported on your bench like this is that you can load weight and you don't have to worry about coordinating with, your lower back to try and hold your whole body statically in place while you're also focusing on your barbell reps. Instead, what you can just do is you set up and you do your row like so and back down again, and every single time you take a break, you can stop and fully reset, and while your lower back is supporting you throughout the motion here, once you get down to this point, the bench takes the weight. Okay, so we'll move on to other variants first. I'm just showing this one first, just because this is the one that I use in my home gym. Not all public gyms will be cool with you doing this method, particularly because this does place a lot of stress on the barbell. So if you're going very, very heavy with it, theoretically it shouldn't matter with a good barbell, but if you have a cheap barbell, doing this over time might eventually curve the barbell a little bit. Not really a thing that happens all that commonly, but if you're going very heavy on it and it's a cheap barbell, it might happen. So anyway, on our barbell row form, what we want to focus on is a couple of things. First off, we want to focus on full body tension. All right, think about this as the inverse of the bench press, right? So on the bench press, we have full body tension. We want this for our barbell row as well. You want to be, wherever your barbell is, bending to the point where you can just start to feel it in your hamstrings. You don't want to be bending your knees because that's going to make for a weird bar path. You don't want to bend your knees too much. You want to step up so your midfoot is right under the bar, and you get your bar at right about knee height. You want to tense up, full body tension, and pull the bar up to just above your belly button is my preferred spot. If you go too low, you'll lose range of motion. If you go too high, your elbows will flare out and you're going to lose engagement with your lats. So you want to pull to just north of your belly button and back down again. And your goal is you want to think about getting your elbows as far back as you can, right? You don't want to think about pull the bar to your tummy. You want to think about pull your elbows as far up and back as you can and focus on really tensing those back muscles, all right, as you're pulling it up. Boom. Squeeze all those back muscles and back down again. Again. And one more time. Now, you can do an underhand grip. That'll focus on your biceps a little bit more. I personally don't like the underhand grip, very much prefer the overhand grip. And when I program these, I'm programming them for back work, not bicep work. So usually if I have barbell rows in there, you'll do something else that's going to be a little more bicep centric, okay? So again, one more time, just so you can see, go down until I feel it just in my hamstrings. My back is nice and straight, whole body tension. Breathe and brace, pull back. Breathe and brace, pull back. Breathe and brace, pull back. So that is, like I said, my preferred method. Now we're going to talk about two other methods, okay? First off, you have just the empty barbell row, meaning your barbell isn't resting on anything, okay? And these hooks are a little high for this method. If you're doing this method, I would say put your hooks lower so that you don't have to do any kind of upper row to get it off. But since it's just the bar here and I'm just demoing this, you can see, all right? So you would go ahead and step up to your bar, take it off the hooks. You're standing up right now, right? And then you would lean until, again, you get to that same position, all right, like I was at with the bench, feeling adjust my hamstrings, back's nice and tight, nice and flat, full body tension, and back down. The only drawback to this version is that over time, you will get fatigued with all the bracing that you have to do to keep the weight from pulling you forward if there's full weight loaded on the bar. So this is a great one for sub-maximal loads, meaning a weight that you're doing a lot of reps on, but it's not like super duper heavy, like when you're your max, okay? But if you're doing something that's approaching your 3 or 5 rep max, which is very frequently programmed because this is usually part of a primary strength movement along with the bench press, not quite optimal. You can also, of course, start from a deadlift position and do the same thing, right? So this doesn't have to be on the hook. So you can start with just a barbell on the ground and you would deadlift it up. So you pick it up, come to that same position, and row and back down again, all right? So either of those work. That's the second method. The third method, which is kind of a compromise between the two, is if you have safety bars, which you should, or spotter arms, or literally any other sort of catch the weight mechanism for your power rack for safety purposes. Some have straps, some have chains and stuff like that. You can set these up at right around where that bench would be. You're looking at just about knee height. Like so. And you can just have the bar resting on there. And then you do your rows from here, right? Same idea. Now the only thing with this is you kind of need to have a separate rack versus the one you're doing your bench press in, or you do these after your bench press, right? So most people don't have 2 racks if they're at a home gym. Most people don't want to occupy 2 racks if they're at a public gym. So more often than not, this is the least common version, but it is honestly, in my opinion, the best version if you're not trying to superset, meaning you do one exercise to the next. I usually superset my benches in rows, so I would do bench 2 rows, which means I do the bench method. But if you're not supersetting, if you do all your bench presses first and then all your rows after that, this is actually probably the best method because it combines the best of both worlds. It supports both ends of the bar, so it's nice and stable. If you're using spotter arms or anything like that, you can go ahead and set it at the proper height for whatever your body type is. So like if you have longer arms and shorter legs in the bench method, the bench press is too high for you, this is great. You can drop it lower, all right? Or vice versa. So this is probably the best version, but it's also the least common one. Really, as far as they all go, all 3 of them will work for the programs that we have up on heroacademy.com, all right? So if you prefer one, you can do whichever one you prefer. If you want my favorite, personal variant, it's the one with the bench. Up to you. Any of these 3 will work. Typically, you're benching and rowing the same weight in the programs. So it's very easy to swap between the 2. Up to you how you want to do it. So that's it for the barbell row. Thank you for watching. As always, remember to live boldly, change the world, and continue to be awesome. Bye-bye.